back to the Right-Wave Audio community. My name is John, and for this video, we will unbox the new Apple TV 4K for 2021. And what we have behind me is not the Apple 4K 2021, but really the second generation Apple TV, the last one we bought, probably around 2010. And I thought it was the first generation. I did some research. It actually was the second generation. But it is old, nevertheless. So we've got a device that's over 10 years old. And we look at the interface, and Apple's pretty consistent the way these things look over the years. But we're expecting some updates. I figured I'd dust this off and take a look at how this worked when I bought it 10 years ago. And, I lost the remote. I'm actually navigating through my iPhone. But that's a neat thing about using the Apple ecosystem. If you do have the phones and the computers and the tablets and the laptops, as we do, that are Apple based, then it does integrate kind of nicely. So with that said, let's move on from the Apple TV from the second generation, 2010, fast forward 11 years to what we just got in the mail today. Is the new 4K. And this was ordered directly from Apple. We ordered it on the first day that you could. They'd taken pre-orders. And the way these come out, just flap this over and the stretchy plastic comes off. And here's the box. You can tell that it's the new one, has the colorful 4K on it. And we're just going to proceed to open this with some kid scissors. And, the Apple TV 4K doesn't have that much different specifications than the other popular devices that are out there. The Roku, the Amazon Fire TV, and so forth. They all support today the Dolby Atmos. They support 4K. They support HDR of different formats. In fact, some of the others support other HDR formats that the Apple TV doesn't quite yet. But what is neat about the Apple TV 4K is that it is an HDMI 2.1 compatible device, and I think Chromecast is the only other one that does. And here it is as it sits in the box, and this looks very similar to that second generation box that we had. Very hockey puck looking, and but the difference is, turn around, this is the back, and it's covered over with this flap here right now. All we get in the back here, I guess this unwinds all the way. We can get rid of that. You have your power, HDMI port, and Ethernet port. What the second generation one had that this doesn't is it had an optical output. So this only has HDMI, which isn't a big deal for those with newer AV processors, but we'll have to run this through the TV and then the TV back to the processor in the current state, because until we update our processor, we don't have an HDMI port on our vintage processor. But with that said, we can get by with this, but you do have to make a decision of whether you want this run directly to your AV processor or directly to the TV and back to the processor. So that will be an interesting move forward. There's also another flap they have on the bottom here that has to be removed beforehand. And I'm not quite sure the purpose of that. I guess it just saves it from scratching while it's in shipment. But there it is, quite simply. And I'll set this down over here. And also in the box is the new remote. And a lot of good things have been said about the remote. There was complaints about the previous generation. 4K Apple TV. And, this is, compare this to a Amazon Fire TV, and we use Amazon Fire TVs. We have one of those, the Amazon Fire TV 4Ks on every TV in the house, and just comparatively, just feeling it, this feels like a fine piece of hi-fi equipment. It's got the brushed aluminum feel. It's heavier, and it just looks more professional, and it does that quality Apple feel to it. And yes, the Apple TV 4K is one of the more expensive units out there. We got the, I didn't mention that earlier, but this is the 64 gigabyte version. There's also a 32 gigabyte. I'm not sure we actually need the memory, but I think it was only a couple, like $20 more for the extra megabytes. Why not? If once you've crossed the line, gone over $100 in your streaming device, why don't you pay another $20 and get the 64 gigabytes is what I was feeling. And so the new remote, you've got your volume control, mute button, play, stop, start, stop, and of course your navigation here. We can do your kind of like a jog shuttle wheel from the early days, on a power button, and on the side is the Siri button for the voice commands, versus you have the Siri, the Amazon equivalent at the top here. The Amazon Fire TV, they just came out with a slightly updated version of the 4K stick. The main difference I understand is there's extra buttons for Netflix, etc., Disney Plus, on the remote. Otherwise, we're looking at pretty much the same unit from spec-wise. So this at least is an upgrade, not just in the remote, but the device itself. You get the 2.1 compatibility on the HDMI, and we'll see what else we get out of this as we go through this. But anyhow, that's the first two items that come out of the box. If we go into this deeper, pull out some extra layers here, we get the Apple logos and disclaimers, etc. You get a lightning connector, and on this side of the box, what do we get here? We get power cable. It's very similar to the power cable. It has that same matte feeling as what we had in the second generation, so that hasn't changed much there. And is there anything else here? It looks like it does not come equipped with an HDMI cable. But what we'll notice is if we go back to the prior generation product here and take a look at this, if we went and looked at the services here, I've got all the apps that the second generation supports on here, and it's Netflix, it's Hulu, and it's a few others, but there are some that are absent, that are not possible to configure on the second generation Apple TV, such as the Disney Plus, and so we're expecting to get more access to more apps, as well as the better features. If you go into, let's say, the settings here, you're limited on the second generation Apple TV, and I believe if you audio and video. So if you go into audio and video here, you can see here that it supports Dolby Digital. Obviously, with the new one having Atmos, that's going to be an improvement. You can go into the HDMI output. There's some limitations on what can be configured there. Television resolution, the maximum resolution that this supports is 1024 by 768 at 60. So lots of improvements that we're expecting over this. But if we were to look over and now switch over to the Fire TV that we have in use, we use this more regularly on this television. you know, it's got more apps in here, and uh, I would say that the new Apple TV 4K, you know, brings it up to the same level of services as what we're expecting. But let's see what we get when we go into this. So let's hook this up. You gotta love modern devices because essentially you're dealing with mostly HDMI, power, and maybe Ethernet. And if you don't want Ethernet, you can always run wireless. So let's switch over, see if we can find this here. And this looks like first one. So we've got the traditional, we'll use the remote. We've got the Apple TV over here. We're going to hit the menu button. Hey. Okay. We'll say we're going to do English in our case. Region. Data and privacy. Now this is where it could get really fun, right? Because we can now set this up with our iPhone or set up manually. So let's see if we can do it with the iPhone. Unlock your iPhone, touch, connect it to the Wi-Fi, turn on Bluetooth. Do I have my Bluetooth? Look at that, set up new Apple TV. I'm going to say set up. How fun is that? All right, so we're going to authenticate. We're going to do the code in here. They definitely made this easy. Hopefully it continues this way all the way through. So it's gathering up my Wi-Fi setup off my phone. It's going to be using the same home network as before. Activating. Okay, so it needs the password for the Apple ID. See if I remember it. Oh, verification failed. So what did I do wrong? It worked that time. Setting up iCloud. So we're getting additional information on the phone and as we get on the screen, but we'll just follow this along. Setting up security. Now, the thing I understand about the Apple TV is a lot of people like it because Apple is paying more attention to user privacy. And if you're concerned about your personal data and everything, you can configure these devices to do all this, to add in the security. So now it's using the phone as a remote. Okay, so require password. After making this purchase, you don't always want the password when purchasing. I'll just say I'm going to require it right now. Okay, settings from your iPhone. Following settings have been transferred, such as Siri, use. Okay, we're going to continue here. We're going to, since my phone already knows my voice and everything, I'm just going to bring that forward. Yes, I use Sling, so let's bring that forward. Okay, where is this? So we have this in the entertainment room. Well, let's see. Let me back up. Can I back up? Yeah. I guess I called it home theater. That would make sense. This is a home theater. All right. See the world with the aerial screen sharing in your HD. Additionals we can read there automatically. We'll just do it automatically. That's fine. Got lots of memory on this. I'm not going to share. Sorry about that. Terms and conditions, we're going to agree. HDR gives you best picture. Apple TV to see if your TV supports HDR. We'll be back. Let's try it. Can't remember if this TV supports HDR. Your TV's been switched to HDR.
Whoa! Oh, that is cool. It's like an app.
Oh yeah. Apps. So Apple TV, we got all this. Movies, iTunes, podcasts, computers. Really cool. Let's see if we can find some of the other apps that we want to put in here. Let's put in Disney Plus, because we know we use that. That's good. So Disney Plus is in there. Let's see what else we want to add. Let's put in our Prime. Now this will be really interesting to see Amazon Prime on an Apple interface. These go in really fast, much faster than the app installs with the Fire Stick. We do have Hulu, so we'll put that in. We don't use it a lot. What else do we got? We don't have YouTube. We have Netflix. We'll download that. We'll probably add in more later. But a lot more choices on the streaming. I can't seem to see the Sling, so I'll just try the Surrey. Sling. There we go. We found it just by using the voice command. Let's go into settings and see what else we can do with this. Oh yeah. What do we get in settings now? Okay, screensavers, restrictions, Siri is on. That's all good. Let's go back. Video and audio. So this is now set up for 4K HDR. Oops. At 60 Hertz. You can bump it down to standard definition or 1080. So there's a lot of different settings here. The chroma can be 422. Let's see if I can, try it out. Okay, so we're set that to 422. Let's match content. Match frame rate, match dynamic range. Yeah, let's try that. Check HDMI. All right, there it looks good. I just looked up online what the HDMI check does. It does take 2 minutes to run the test, so that's why it was so long. And it looks like we're good. Apple will monitor the connection and let them know if there's any problem. I bet this is similar to the way Marantz and Denon check the HDMI. Just a guess there. Okay, so default audio through. I guess you can also select wireless speakers through Bluetooth. Audio, oops, no. Change format. Let's try. Oh, okay. Set to digital Dolby 5.1. That's what we want for this home theater. Reduce loud sounds. No, we want loud sounds. Navigation clicks, we'll leave them on for the time being, and if they get annoying, we can cut it off. We'll leave all the sound effects and audio language default. And let's try out the color balance feature. And what they say to do, and you have to have your iPhone updated to the latest 14.5 iOS or better. But this, which I've updated in here, and if it is, it's automatically going to sense this feature has been enabled, and it comes up on your phone color balance. I'm going to hit continue. It's doing a preparing, and once this prepares, turn your phone so it's front facing, pointing towards your television. Hold it centered inside the outline, 1 inch from the screen, and it's measuring. And color balance complete, and I can look at the results. Now let's take a step back here. The original is this one, and that's the color balance. I'm seeing that the color balanced one tends to be a little bit on the warmer side, and the other one is on the colder side. A little more vibrant on the colors, on the balance. I kind of like it, so I'm going to keep that. Once again, the color balance is not like a professional calibration of your television, so it's not necessarily a replacement for that. Your results may vary, but it's a nice quick tool to, if it does a better job, why not use it? So, that is, well, they even have color bars, it's empty color bars. So there's a lot more to learn about this, and I'll explain that we just watched Disney Plus with this. And what was really evident as we start to navigate through all this, and the remote is actually pretty good how that works. And comparing this, what we've known for the last 5+ years, we've been using Fire Sticks and Fire TV. And it's just snappy. When you click on something, it comes up more quickly. The navigation is quicker. We go and look for the movie that we're looking for, and we hit play. And this is the movie we watch. The kids watch this every Friday, and it's quite entertaining. So it's fast, and you've got that rapid navigation through the bar, which is pretty darn good. And this is snappy. The experience between the Fire Stick and the Apple TV is night and day. Apple TV blows out of the water. And so if you just look at the spec sheets and say, well, they're both 4K, they're both using HDR, they're both Atmos, they're both, all these things are equal. What doesn't come across on the specification is the snappiness, the feel of the remote, that this is a much more professional experience. The ecosystem integration with the iPhones and the iPads, I think really make the experience. And yes, this is a premium device. We got the 64 gigabyte version. It's $200 compared to under $50 for the Fire Stick. But I'll tell you, you think about all the other components that you buy for your system, and where you make these decisions all the time. Well, I'll spend an extra $100 or $200 for the better Blu-ray player, and you make that on simpler decisions than this. For smaller margin, that willing to pay $100, $200, $300 more for a component that gives you just a little bit more. I would say the Apple TV gives you a lot better experience, even if the specifications come out really close. So that's my personal opinion. I'll give you more feedback as we continue this. We got less than an hour on this, but this is my initial feeling on this. I appreciate everybody tuning in. What are your comments on streaming devices? Do you think the Apple TV 4K is worth it. Now, maybe it's not worth it from the prior generation, but certainly upgrading from Gen 2 like we did, it's a big upgrade. But comparing it to, under $100 or under $50 for other comparable devices, paying close to $200 or $200 for an Apple TV, is it worth it in your mind? In our mind, it is. So like your feedback, and if you do like this video, please like and subscribe to this RipeWave Audio community, and be sure to hit that bell icon so you'll be notified as soon as the next video is posted. Until then, keep evolving your audio experience.